Hello, everyone. I'm Luc Beaulieu, and welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Today, we're going to take a look at what took place Monday night on Raw, November 14th, from Louisville, Kentucky. So, here we go. So the show begins with Seth Rollins coming to the ring, uh, talks about all the people that wanted to challenge him on his open challenge, naming Finn Balor, naming Bobby Lashley, naming Mustafa Ali. And he says that in the main event tonight, well, Monday night, he would face Finn Balor for the title. Now he's interrupted by Bobby Lashley, comes to the ring, berates, says that he's going to beat Rollins for the title eventually, and he wants his title back, which he shouldn't have lost, according to him. Ali comes out, Mustafa Ali comes out, and says that he wants the shot at Rollins too. Lashley just shrugs him aside, says, "Hey, come on, kid, you don't belong here," or whatever. Ali attacks Lashley. Lashley just tosses him over. Ali comes back. He attacks Lashley again, and then Lashley says, "You want to challenge me? Or, well, I'm going to challenge you to a match, and we're going to have this match right now." And when the match happened, well, Lashley completely dominated Ali, which was expected. Uh, what both wrestlers wanted out of that is Lashley wants to reestablish himself as a massive heel persona, uh, who doesn't care about hurting people, and Ali just wants to be the big man and get a shot at Seth Rollins' U.S. title. Uh, Repeatedly during the match, referee is asking Ali if he wants to quit, if he wants him to stop the match. Now, this is to establish Ali as a no quitter, uh, a guy that's got heart and doesn't want to quit and wants to go all the way until he gets beaten in the ring. Lashley just keeps on pouring on the punishment on Ali. He puts the hurt lock. Ali won't quit, and referee just stopped the match because Ali passed out. So Lashley looks like a beast. Ali looks like a guy with a lot of heart that doesn't want to quit, and even if he's hurt, he won't quit. So that's what is coming out of this match for both wrestlers. After that, there's a segment backstage with the OC. They talk about Mia Yim being the problem solver, the Rhea problem solver, and AJ just says this has to stop, and he challenges Finn Balor to a match at Survivor Series. And they all continue talking, and then we learn that Mia Yim has a match right after. So we'll get to that match analysis right now. So Mia Yim against Tamina Snuka. Now Mia wants to win. Well, it's her first match back on Raw, so obviously she wants to win, and there was no reason not to expect otherwise, since Tamina is very good. She's a good wrestler, but she's used to as talent enhancement. So, unfortunately, because I think she deserves more credit than she has, but it was expected that Mia would win, and she wins the match. while Rhea and Dominic look on. So after the match, Rhea approaches the ring, teases that she's gonna get in and fight Mia, and then Rhea just walks out and says, "You're not worth my time." So it's just setting up confrontation, and then there was a segment later on when Damage Control wanted to recruit Mia Yim to their team, and Mia said she had no problem with Bianca or anyone on the other side's team, so she declines the offer. Then we have a segment with Matt Riddle and his bongos, and Chad Gable and Otis come in, and they just say, "Well, I'm going to beat your ass in the ring," and that's our third match. So we'll get right to it. So match number 3, Matt Riddle versus Chad Gable. Now, very good match between the two of them. Both are incredible wrestlers, and Chad Gable is so underrated in the ring. Well, he's a former Olympian, he's a former amateur wrestler, but his wrestling is incredible, and I wouldn't be surprised if eventually he is pushed for a singles title at some point. But the gimmick right now with Alpha Academy is very good for him and for Otis. And it's just a shame that the tag team titles are hogged by the Usos. And the Bloodline storyline is incredibly good right now. So don't take the titles off of them either. But it's just a shame that tag teams like Gable and Otis don't have the opportunity to shine. But it will eventually. Now, Gable surprisingly wins the match with a backslide by cheating, feet on the rope, Otis holding on to them. Now, we all know that Riddle could have kicked out, but that's how the match was supposed to end. So big win for Chad Gable. Riddle will probably get back to them eventually for this cheating victory, and Riddle is like right now in a phase that he's going to put people over, because we all know that he put Roman Reigns. He brought Roman Reigns to his limit. He had very good matches with Seth Rollins, and so that's why right now I think Riddle is putting over people to give them some credibility, and then they're going to rebuild them back up. So I wouldn't worry about Riddle's losses right now. It's just good business, raise up people's credibility in the ring. And like I said, Gable is underrated, and too bad he's so small, but I've seen small wrestlers world champion. And we have the best example in Rey Mysterio. Oh, my little kitten here is getting up. My little mascot. So that's basically it. And then after that, we have a segment where JBL is playing, not JBL, but Corbin is playing poker with I don't know who, and he just wins all his money. And then Tozawa comes in, and Tozawa gets in. He says he doesn't know how to play poker, And JBL said, "Oh, game on." And he was sure that Tozawa would go bankrupt within the 2 or 3 hands. And later on, Tozawa has won all of the Corbin's money. So it was pretty funny. And that led to a match later on. So we'll get to that after that. So then we see the Miz that prepared a statement, a Miz interview by Baron Saxton. And Saxton asks him why did he pay Dexter Loomis to attack him? And Miz says that he regrets paying Dexter. He just wanted to get sympathy from the crowd. And then when Saxton says, "Well, you're telling me now what is different than what you told to the private investigator last week," and Miz just says, "I gave her what she wanted," and they're interrupted by Gargano, and you hear Corey Graves, "Why is Gargano in all of this?" and whatever. So, and then Johnny said he talked to official and he announced a match between Dexter Loomis and The Miz at Survivor Series. Now, the caveat of this match is that if Dexter wins, Miz has to pay everything that he owes to Dexter Loomis, and he gets a WWE contract. Now, Miz says, well, he says whatever he wants. He says, and then Gargano says, "Well, why don't you tell it to him?" And you see cameraman behind, he drops his camera, starts to remove his hoodie or whatever he had on, and it's Dexter Loomis. And the segment ends with Dexter Loomis's music from NXT. So you basically know that Dexter Loomis already has a contract, but for the sake of the storyline, it's just as if he doesn't have a contract right now. Next segment, we have Shelton Benjamin and Dominic. Now, Dominic says that he's better than Shelton, and then he goes, Shelton challenges, Damien Priest gets in the face of Shelton. He says, "You want a match?" Blah, blah, blah. And then Shelton says, I'm accepting his challenge, pointing to Dominic. So, and during all the interview, all the segment, Dominic was playing parrot to whatever was Damien Priest was saying. And Shelton and Dominic will have a match, so that's where we're going right now with match number 4. Let's get to it. So Dominic versus Shelton Benjamin. Now, during that match, Dominic plays what I call the chicken shit heel almost perfectly. And after interference from Damien Priest, getting Dominic to the ropes, Shelton gets in the face of Priest, and Dom rams Shelton in the post and finishes him with the frog splash. Now, Shelton Benjamin is another guy that's so good in the ring, and he is underrated, but he is so good in the ring. But unfortunately, he will never get pushed because probably of his age, and they already how can I say that? They won't push him as a singles guy, maybe as a tag team guy again, but he is so underrated in the ring. But Dominic, he needs the wins. He needs to establish his credibility, and that's the reason why Dominic won this match. Even if it was by cheating, by interference, by distraction, a win's a win for the Judgment Day, and a win's a win for Dominic, and in the proverbial record book, it's a win for Dominic Mysterio against Shelton Benjamin. Segment 5, after that, we have Austin Theory says, last week everybody was saying that Austin Theory was buried, worst cash in ever. People didn't understand why they were burying Theory. They were making him lose all the time, and that was all leading to what happened last night. Now, if you didn't listen to my videos from the analysis from last week's Raw, I was saying to not worry about Austin Theory's career. He has everything going for him. He has charisma. He's a very good wrestler. And remember, he's only 24 or 25 years old. So in this world, that's very young. I started wrestling at 28. And I wrestled for 15 years. So he's got a ton of time in front of him. So in his interview, he says he exceeded expectations since day one, and people can't relate to him, and they just want to see him fail. He says that the Money in the Bank briefcase was an anchor to him; it wasn't holding him back. And then he says he couldn't cash in on Reigns because the Usos were there. Tyson Fury at Castle to the Castle prevented him from doing it. So he said that he couldn't cash in on Roman because he was too protected. So he went for the next best thing, which was the U.S. title. He's interrupted by Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler told him that he wanted to give him advice, but Theory wouldn't listen to him. And Theory challenges Dolph to a match. So that match takes place later on in the evening. But for now, we're going to match 5 with Io Sky versus Dana Brooke. So Io Sky versus Dana Brooke. Now, Dana is pissed because Nikki Cross just threw the title, the 24/7 title, like where I won't try to say how R-Truth was saying it, 24/7, 7-Eleven, whatever. You had a thing, R-Truth, with that title. Like I said, I won't try to repeat. So Io Sky dominated the match almost from end to end. Dana had a little offense, and in an interview before the match, Dana was saying that she won't let her hard work with the title go to waste, but we all know that Dana is enhancement talent for now. Maybe later, but I don't think she will be ever built to have a title. Maybe other than 24/7, maybe if they do a mid-card title eventually, maybe they can give her something like that in the future. But right now, Dana is not, and it's unfortunate because she's not a bad wrestler. Well, every wrestler that's in the WWE is a good wrestler. There might be exceptions, but the majority of them are very good in the ring, especially now with NXT, that they can groom them, they can show them everything they have to know. I'm digressing, but Io wins with the over the moon moonsault, and then Mia Yim comes out and she says that she's going to be in War Games, but on Bianca Belair's team. So there's 4 on each side after this match for War Games. There's Damage Control with Nikki Cross on one side, and on the other side there's now Mia Yim, Bianca Belair, Asuka, and Alexa Bliss. Now, we've learned later on, Rhea Ripley goes to see Bayley and says that if Mia Yim is in the match, she's in the match, and she joins Bayley's team. So the only person missing right now is on Bianca Belair's side. I expect it to be Candice LeRae, but we are not immune to a surprise comeback, maybe from Becky Lynch, who would join, because remember at SummerSlam, Becky and Bianca confronted Damage Control. So I'm not ruling out a Becky Lynch comeback at Survivor Series for War Games. Just say that. I think it's going to be Candice LeRae because it makes sense with the storyline. But like I said, I would not be surprised if it would be Becky Lynch. So we get to match 6, which is going to be Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. So let's get to that analysis. So Austin Theory versus Dolph Ziggler. Now Austin Theory comes out, no cell phone, different focus. And right then and there, I've told myself, well, that's a new beginning for Austin Theory. Now, Dolph, when you have Dolph in the ring, you can expect a very good match. And that's what we got there. They put on a very good match. Theory kicks out of the zigzag, and Dolph has put numerous opponents out with this move. So that's one thing for Theory. They're building him back up right now. Theory gets the A-Town down, no pin, gives him another, and then proceeds to beat down Ziggler. And he beats him down in the ring, outside the ring, rams in the post. He just gives hell to Ziggler until the referee disqualifies Theory. No, so the winner of the match is Dolph Ziggler, but the purpose of this angle was to sell Austin Theory as a new guy, more focused, more vicious, and he's going to take what he wants. So for those, like I said last week and I said earlier in the video, for those who were saying, oh, they're burying Theory, he's finished, worst cash-in ever. And what did I say last week? I said, don't worry about Theory. They're going to build him back up. I thought it would take some time, but it's better like that because they don't put him in the doghouse, if you permit the expression. So the whole I'm going to come back with the Money in the Bank. Well, I can talk about it now. The Money in the Bank cash-in failing was a nice surprise, but that triggered Austin Theory's persona change. I knew that WWE believes in Theory very much. I think he's got a very bright future in WWE. Now, to make maybe an analogy, of the last few months for Austin Theory. He did lose a lot of matches, uh, and that that was all leading to what we saw last night. What we saw Monday. It was all leading to that, saying that maybe the briefcase was a distraction to him, and now he's focusing more on what he's got to do in the ring and not just relying on the briefcase to win a title. So I've, like I said, I don't want to make a comparison to my own career, but at two different times I played the gimmick of the guy that lost his motivation and was losing matches all the time until something triggered. Uh, at one time, I was a face losing all the time and I turned heel. And the other time, it was the contrary. I was a heel losing all my matches. And then the stable I was in, they beat me up. I came back 2 weeks after and I said, well, you guys, you just lit up the motivation. You lit up the fire back in me. And the worst mistake you did was not to not finish the job. But that's just sometimes you do a storyline like that, and that's exactly what they did with Theory. Theory was not bad down on his luck and everything. He was still confident, but he was losing matches after matches after matches because he was too distracted by the briefcase. So that was what the angle was all about. Get rid of the briefcase and bring a new, more focused, more vicious, more to the point of Austin Theory. So we're going to match 7, but just keep faith. Like I said, keep faith in WWE. They don't want to get rid of Austin Theory. So let's go to match 7 now. So Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the United States title. What can I say? Two top performers in the company. Two of the top performers in the company. Now, Seth wishes to keep his title, continue his title reign, while Finn would love to bring a first title to Judgment Day. Match was incredibly good, and we can expect no less from those two guys. Match was very well built, very good psychology in the match, a lot of uh, counter for counter for counter. Uh, at one point, I called that Finn was going on the top rope, and I said to myself, "Well, here comes the superplex followed by the Falcon Arrow." I was right about the superplex. I was wrong about the Falcon Arrow. So that's what I mean. Those two guys know each other so good that they counter each other's uh, holds. At one point, just at the perfect time, psychology wise, Judgment Day comes to the ring to distract Rollins. First, it was Dominic, and then it was Damien Priest. The OC comes to the rescue, starts brawling with Judgment Day, and right at the end of the match, you have Finn Balor going for the coup de grace, and AJ just pushes him off from the top rope, lands on the thrown on the rope, and OC and Judgment Day continue to brawl down outside. Rollins hits the stomp, wins the match. Right after the match, Austin Theory comes in, attacks Rollins, gives him the A-Town down, and then just continues to beat on him for what seemed to be a long time, not that much, but I mean, he beat him up outside the ring, bring him back in the ring, gave him a second A-Town down, and then Theory makes a statement, takes the title, hits Rollins with it, and then he just stands over him, lifts the title up, saying, I'm next. So to those that were worrying about Theory last week, I hate to say it, but I told you so. Do not be worried about Austin Theory's future. You have the evidence, you have the proof right there. So the finish of this match was perfect for all three guys. First of all, Finn lost because of outside interference. He was going for the win, lost because of outside interference. So that doesn't take anything away from him in the loss. Rollins looks good because he won the match. He keeps on. He keeps his reign going. But the guy that benefited the most from this outcome was Austin Theory. Theory continues to establish himself in the company, but now he has more focus. He's more vicious. He's more. He has one goal in mind, and that's to take the title, the U.S. title. So that's my analysis for this week's Raw, November 14th. I'll see you for my SmackDown analysis on Saturday. And then the following week will be Survivor Series week. So I will have my Survivor Series prediction video up during next week. Hope I do a little bit better than my last two predictions video. For Crown Jewel, I was 4 out of 8, which is 50%. And I didn't take into account the fact that they wanted to please the crowd a little bit. I'm digressing. So look forward for my SmackDown analysis, and after that, it's going to be my Survivor Series predictions. So until then, have a nice evening. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, comment, have questions. I'm going to be happy to answer. And see you next time.